Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Final Fantasy Group Exodus video. We're going to be looking at the two new collaboration units on the GB version. Team R for this one here, this Asellus. It is saved because of the 100% charm resistance, which is, I guess, kind of rare on a materia, so I'll at least get one of those. And also, she gets 500 flat attack and magic on that S Team R there, which is pretty decent. Also, this is pretty good as well. I like this. Unfortunately, for some reason, they decided not to balance the stats of this weapon. And also, the stats are kind of low for the attack side. But, whatever, I guess. And, this vision card is not very good. As it always, like I said in my news video, these vision cards are never really that good. And, I mean, look at it. It's just not good. So, surprisingly, true Brave Shift. And she's a sword user, as you can see, only can equip swords, naturally. And the funniest thing, she is a dark unit. So I'm just going to get that context in there right away. She's a dark unit, and she has this. Sword in peril, 50%. Guess who else is a sword user that recently was a New Vision Plus unit? She didn't get 50% sword in peril, but this unit does. So, already kicked out of the spotlight, because honestly, in order to make Snovlinka good, you need this unit, you need Jet, and you need Lulu. Whereas Faye only needs two of those, Lulu and Jet. And all dark units are gonna need those two, but it's so funny that in order to make Snovlinka good, you need so many components. So people are already coping in my Discord, but Snovlinka, you know, she was never gonna be that great of a pull, and this solidifies it. Because if you do it in trial setting, for example, if you have two of Asellus instead, you would have access to two versions of 50%. You'd have 6 turns in total. You don't have to do consecutively, but you'd have 6 turns of 50% sword in peril instead of only 3 turns in dark visions, for example. So if Snovlinka if she had this as well, then you'd actually, I would concede that you would have 6 turns of 50% sword in peril in dark visions, but most turns you don't need that many turns really in dark visions to cap most times. So in her base form, she's a physical DPS, where she is up there, of course. 24 hits, so I mean, it's fine, I guess. And they're really obsessed with. I'm assuming this is the lore thing. They're really obsessed with these abilities on these collab units. They're not good. It's just it's not good because it's a chance to Graviton cannon chaining. It's like you can't choose. It unlocks something, but it doesn't say for one turn, but I don't think it's worth it. You just stick to the LB chaining. In the Brave Shift form, surprisingly, she is a magic. This isn't surprising, the magic part, but she's 27 hits, which means you can use her with Dark Fina in Dark Visions. So you have two. This is a very I don't know, like budget. I don't know what the word is. Like versatile. It's a very versatile unit. You can use this with Snovlinka. You can also use this with Dark Fina, the New Vision Plus version, of course, if you're not familiar with her. So, very versatile unit. Actually, like, well worth it. If you're Dark Visions, if you're someone who loves Dark Visions and does Dark Visions every single time, I feel like this is. I don't say this very often. This might be a must pull if you're a Dark Visions user, because now you have two units that you can use this with in Dark Visions in terms of a chaining partner. So in that aspect, I'm going to go ahead and get right to the score. I'm going to go ahead and give her a 9 out of 10 because of that versatility. 50% sword and peril is also going to be very useful going forward for a lot of other units as well. Unless they have their, I mean, even if they have their own 50% sword and peril, now you have more turns with 50% sword and peril. So yeah, very good. Dark is obviously the leader at this point in terms of New Vision Plus units, and they've done that on purpose. You know, they made Lulu, they made Jet. I still wish that Jet was a breaker instead of a DPS, but we already had Chaos Bismarck for that, so I guess they wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, 9 out of 10 for her. She's very good. I can already see. By the way, I did one step on the step when I surprisingly actually got her. I never get lucky anymore. I actually got lucky for the first time in forever. So I might post that on my community tab. That was crazy that I finally got a New Vision unit on the first pull. That never happens to me, guys. I've never built that way, but I am this time. Alright, so let's move on to... Apparently this guy, from one of the comments, said that this guy is the main character. So let's see if the main character is given justice here. I mean, this is actually kind of interesting, though. I don't think we've ever seen this. I think maybe there's been one time where we saw something similar to this effect. Where you can get resistances if you equip a certain thing. I wish it was higher though, and 20% is not really that much, but it's something. This team art might actually come in handy at some point, maybe. But it kind of gives it away that he's not a tank or anything. He is a debuffer, which is fine. This says TMR 10% is just not, it's just not really hitting. That's not really hitting, guys. That's not, it's just not. Surprisingly, this has 150, but it's still not good. Alright, so enough of my blabbing about that. So he is basically, if you remember I almost said Earth Bismarck. That's what I was getting to. I slipped up. Alright, so if you remember Chaos Bismarck, he is a dark and water breaker, mostly dark. Has some water stuff in there too. But this guy is basically the earth and fire version of that unit. But physical. He's a physical version of that. So he has all the things that you'd like on Chaos Bismarck, although I don't think he had these weapon parallels. I'm pretty sure he didn't. And also he doesn't have this, which isn't good anyways, but the mitigation's okay, I guess. So this is pretty good. If you go to EX2, you get 200% Earth Imperil, so for more Earth damage. I feel like this unit is only good, really, for right now if you pulled Roka, the new Roka, and you also pulled the part 1 New Vision Plus unit who's Earth, because I don't feel like this unit has a spot right now. Unless you pulled for those characters. Because if you did, this is kind of like a nice bonus to pull for now as well. And he's a finisher. What is their obsession with making units that shouldn't be finishers, and units that should be finishers, chainers, or whatever? I mean, like, this should just be a support chaining breaker DPS thing, instead of him being a weird finisher with a very bad modifier in a New Vision Plus era. Only 50 times modifier as well, so like, what is he finishing? What is he capping? His cap is going to be very weak. I don't know. I guess you're just not going to use his LB for anything other than the SLB for the 40% Sword and Peril and also the 89% break. So they're still afraid of making 90% breaks on JP for defense. They've made several 90% spirit breaks, but not defense breaks, because I guess they're afraid of like going crazy, I guess. 1% in breaks is going to change. But it's been years and they've still not made a 90% defense break on the JP version. Whereas Global has made several 90% breaks. And yes, it does help a lot, but it's not, you know, breaking the game entirely or anything. So I don't know. I don't think this guy is as valuable as a New Vision Plus unit, of course not. But I don't think this guy has a place currently. But if you want to pull for the future, or you did pull for the part 1 New Vision Plus unit, obviously that you want to pull for this guy. So for that all in mind, I'm going to go ahead and give him a 7.5 out of 10. He's just fine. He's not terrible. He's pretty good. But not a must pull unless you already pulled for part 1 and also have the new Roka. And like I mentioned in one of my videos, guys, before, this is going to start happening a lot more. I'm going to be surprised if next month there's going to be a Fire Neovision Plus, and then there's going to be a Neovision unit that has a 70% fire field that you need to pull for if you want a Fire Neovision Plus, and all that stuff is going to be happening. It's the next cycle. So, get excited, I guess. Alright, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.